another video of disastrous history. Today we are going to talk about one of the most infamous tornadoes that has happened in the last probably decade. We are going to talk about the December 10th, 2021 Mayfield, Kentucky tornado. Now, one of the things with this particular tornado is that it was originally thought to be one tornado that went through 4 states. But after subsequent analysis, it was determined by the National Weather Service that it was actually 2 tornadoes lifted up for a brief section here in extreme northwest Tennessee and then touched down again a few dozen miles later. So the first tornado, which is this one right here, touched down just south eastish of Jonesboro, Arkansas, was an EF4. You can see this particular tornado was on the ground for 80 miles, was an EF4, caused 6 fatalities. On the night of this particular tornado, let's update my radar here a little bit because we are currently looking at the start of the Mayfield tornado. We're going to look at this first tornado real quick. So 7:07 p.m. 7:07 right there. There you go. All right. So let's see if we have a better radar. Yeah, we'll use this one. All right. So this is the start of the first EF4 tornado of this particular family. This supercell would produce 2 EF4 tornadoes, both this one and the one in Mayfield. Let's see. We zoom in here. We zoom in here. Come on. There we go. Cooperate. Thank you. All right. On our, I want relative velocity. Maybe. All right, that's fine. Well, let's see if we can fix it. Nope. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. You can see our couplet right there. You can see the start of our hook right there. If we zoom out a little bit here, you can see this formation of this supercell. You've got your big rain portion right here. You can see as it flows backward and starts to spin right here. It's a solid hook right there. Now, remember, green on the velocity means it's going towards the radar. Red means it's going away. Gets a little fuzzy down here once you get close into this tornado, but this is when this particular tornado touched down. And our first damage point right here for this tornado is this EF0. Small barns or farm building, loss of wood, metal roofing material. Let's see if there's actually a damage photo. Yeah, you can see right here, picked off a little bit, mostly because you've got your overhang here, so you're going to be able to get winds up underneath this right here and lift it right off. You've got a lot of surface area there that's going to be able to get winds up underneath it and rip it right off. So that's our first damage assessment, and this one stayed relatively weak as it traveled on. Got another EF0 damage right here. Let's see. Radio antenna bent. No photos. We start to strengthen ever so slightly. We've got some EF2 damage right here. This was an outbuilding. It's gone. Outbuildings go pretty easily. They don't get that full up to EF4, usually because there aren't interior walls. So if, say, your garage door fails, it has all that wind has a giant, basically, parachute to enter and just rip it apart. You can see all of the debris. There's a boat. You can see all the debris spread out in the field back here. Boat was put right up, so you can still use that boat if you wanted to. Let's move our radar forward a little bit. Let's see what time was this at. This was at 7:10 p.m. So we've only been on the ground for about 2 or 3 minutes at this point. We've already strengthened up to EF2 damage. Looking a little better on radar. You still have got a solid velocity couplet there. You've got a hook right here. Still pretty solid. We're going to continue it, that EF1, EF2 strength through north of Lake City, Arkansas, up into just west of Monette, Arkansas. We're going to have, is this Arkansas still or is this Missouri? Zoom out a little bit. No, it's still Arkansas. Okay. We have our first EF3 damage. Metal building system. Wind speeds of 140. Let's look at the damage here. You can see it's completely collapsed. These steel I-beams are bent. That's a good EF3 damage right there. That did some good work. Let's see what time was this at. Let's see how our presentation on radar is. 7:23. And you got to remember, this was in the middle of December. It was December 10th. There's a community reference in there, but I'm not going to make it. It is looking incredible on velocity scan here. That is quite the couplet right there. Let's pull up the correlation coefficient, see where we're at. So we don't quite have a debris ball. We may have a little bit of one right there as it's going towards Monette, because we're at 7:23. So we're a couple minutes after it hit this barn right here. So we're up in this general area where we have our next level 3 EF3 rating. Let's see. This is a low-rise building, so it's probably like a doctor's office or something of that nature. You can see the exterior walls over in this area are collapsed over here. You can see the concrete bricks have collapsed, concrete blocks. Let's see what the other photo is. You can see this tree has been ripped up. Now it doesn't have leaves because it is December. So when you see trees without leaves in this, that's because none of the trees will have leaves because it's the middle of the wintertime. Well, not quite, but on the way to wintertime. You can see some pretty significant damage here. This is a good EF3 at what, 140, 143. Yeah, good guess by me. So you can see kind of the start of a debris ball right in here as this hook echo really starts to define itself. Then we continue up. This is continuing. We're still in Arkansas. We've got some more EF3 damage up here in Leachville. Another metal building system. Let's see what this one is. Another metal building system. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's fully collapsed, but it's going to be open. So as soon as one of these doors right here collapses or fails, all that wind's going inside. It's going to pick it right up. It's going to have it's basically a giant parachute. Let's see what this one looks like. Yep, same thing. You can see this one's actually kind of anchored. Not very well. And the anchoring is not going to really do anything once you're actually inside the building itself, once the winds have made it in. You can see right here, look at that. Ripped right out. They've bent the bolts. That's a really good damage picture. You can see how it broke the concrete all around. That wind was packing a punch. Where are we at with this one? What time are we at? 7:30? Let's move ahead a little bit, see what our radar signature looked like at this time. We're going to leave it on correlation, except it's not going to load. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can see it right there. That's our debris ball right there. It's starting to really pull things up. If you've been here before, the debris ball right there means that the higher colors, this purple, red, that kind of thing, indicate that these are all similar sizes. So your correlation coefficient, the higher it is, the more they correlate to each other. So this is going to be all rain, all of that kind of stuff. This right here, this section in here, is going to be hail. You can see this pink square right here. That's hail. So your hail is going to be different sizes. The darker sections here, this is going to be a hail core. Your hail is going to be different sizes, so your correlation coefficient is going to drop down a little bit. You can see it right here where you start to get those greens and the yellows and the blues. Your coefficient is going to drop because the hail is slightly different sizes from each other versus the more universal rain up in this area. But once you get a tornado on the ground that starts causing damage, it's going to start lofting things into the air that are different sizes. Planks, tires, cars, pieces of glass, tree branches, leaves. It's going to be all different colors. So your correlation coefficient is going to drop significantly down into these blue areas. And that's where you can tell that you have a tornado on the ground doing damage. So We have our tornado on the ground. It's doing significant damage. We're up into EF3 right before we cross into Missouri. These are trees debarked. Let's see if there's a picture of them. Oh, yeah, you can see. This is not, see, these are pine trees. These are not wintertime. Look at the debarking on these trees. They are completely gone. Everything has been ripped off. That's a crazy photo. We move on. We move into the Missouri. Curious what all the damage at the right of the line is. Oh, trees. Makes sense. Broken wood poles. Complete uplift of roof. See what this little juncture is here. Is this a 1 or 2 family residence? 1 or 2 family residence. Oh, wow. Exterior walls collapsed. EF2. That's a relatively low. They must not have had confidence in the manufacturer of that particular home. Complete destruction of unit, debris blown away. Yep, it is gone. You can see where the home used to be. There's the pipes right there. Cinder blocks it used to sit on. It is gone. That is an EF2. Oh, that's the same photo. My bad. That's EF2 damage. Mobile homes do not stand up well to tornadoes at all. At all. If you are in a mobile home and a tornado's coming, try and get somewhere else. So moving on, we're in Missouri now. We've got some EF3 damage up here. You know what? Before we move on here, let's look at what this presented as on radar when it was hitting here. 740. All right. Let's see. We at the right time, 7:39. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, you can see there's a debris ball right here. You've got your hook. Let's see what we look like on relative velocity. Yeah, we got a pretty good hook, or pretty good velocity couplet sitting right here, right in there. I wonder if there was maybe a little bit of a satellite tornado with this. It's possible. Let's see. I wish radar scope showed you the road lines on it. Whoa, the road lines on there. That'd be great. I could line up a little bit better and we can see if maybe this had spun off a satellite tornado here that caused some of this damage over here. But who knows? All right, we're going to continue on. We've got some more EF3 damage up in here. Electrical transmission lines. Those are those big transmission lines, and it is fully collapsed. I'm guessing that is the same on this one. Broken or bent steel concrete poles. Oh yeah, some more transmission lines that had damage. All right, continuing on. More EF3 damage right there. We weaken. Oh, here we go. Right here, we've got 2 EF4 damage indicators. And before we get into this, let's see. What time was this at? 8:04 p.m. 8:04 p.m. Let's look at the radar presentation at this time. All right, we've got our hook right there. How far away from the radar side are we at this point? Let's see which one looks better. We're kind of at a little bit of a hole here. That's fine. You got your velocity scan. That is a monster of a tornado right there. Let's go ahead and switch to correlation coefficient. Yeah, you can see that is a monster of a debris ball right there. So this is when we're at 170 strength. This is a 1 or 2 family residence, all walls collapsed. And what they mean by collapsed, they mean gone. The walls are gone. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, it is. This home is gone. Now, it doesn't have an explanation, but I'm going to tell you right now that the reason this does not receive an EF5 damage indicator is because this home, was not bolted. If I were a betting man, the pictures aren't great, but I'm going to go with they were only nailed in place, which is why it got that 170 versus the 190. And it doesn't even look like it was nailed particularly well. There's a tree in the middle of what used to be the home, so that's also not helpful for these photos. That's why that got that 170. Let's see what this one is. 1 or 2 family residence, all walls collapsed. See, also got the 170. Guessing we have a similar situation here where, yep, you can see where it was. There is no anchoring here whatsoever. Likely was just nailed into the floor. There was nothing actually holding it in place, which is why it, yep. You can see there's a nail there. Yeah, wasn't well connected. That's why it didn't get an EF5 rating. It's why it only got the 170. It didn't get the 190 or the 200 for this particular one. 0 deaths, 0 injuries. 0 deaths, 0 injuries. I wonder, real quick, we're just going to take a trip back here real quick. I wonder. Nope, 0 deaths, 0 injuries. Good. Okay. So those are our 2 EF4 damage indicators so far. We continue on, cross over into Tennessee, cross the river, cross the Mississippi, go across the Mississippi. We briefly skirt the Tennessee shore, back across the Mississippi again, back into Missouri, cross the Mississippi again, and we're back into Tennessee. We're at EF3 strength here. Trees debarked. I'm guessing this is also going to be trees. Yep, trees debarked. Let's see what these trees look like. Oh, not bad. Not great, but not bad. Not as bad as they could be. Then we hit here. We have an EF4 damage indicator here. Small retail building, fast food restaurant, total destruction of entire building. What do we got here? A 167 wind speed. So that is just inside the EF4 damage indicator, and whatever this was is gone. It is completely relocated. We don't have any anchor bolts, probably just nailed. Let's see. Yep, you can see. Just sitting there. I wonder what this was. I don't see a sign or anything. I don't know. If you know what this was, what building this was, let me know in the comments. Because I don't know. It's just outside Reelfoot Lake State Park. I guess I could probably pull up Google Maps and see. But, alright. We're going to go across Reelfoot Lake here. We're going to do some EF2 damage. You know what? Let's look at our radar real quick before we move on. Where are we at here? 8. This can be like 8:15-ish. 8:30-ish. Wow, I was off. 8:32. Whoops. Come on. 8:32. I think we're getting into Paducah's area now. Yeah, we'll go into Paducah. Let's go ahead and do relative velocity. You can see it right there. Right in there. Was a good effort. And then we continue on and we dissipate just inside Tennessee, just on the other side of Reelfoot Lake. So let's see if we can figure out where our fatalities were. And I apologize, at the beginning of this, I said that I was going to talk about both of them, but I've been talking for a while, so we're just going to do this one, and then we're going to make a second video for the actual Kentucky tornado. I was trying to, usually they label them. Curious where our, I believe this had 6 fatalities. Yep, 6 fatalities. What's interesting is there's no fatalities at the EF4 indicators. So I wonder, those are trees. Is this going to be trees? Nope. Transmission lines. Nope. Back. Let's see. Nope. Nope. Let's take a gander. Huh. I wonder if they just didn't put it in here. But yeah, this tornado was on the ground for a while. Was a little over a mile in width. It'd be 1,800 yards, so it was just a skosh over a mile. Was on the ground for 81 miles. Did some pretty good damage. You can see there's not a lot of damage indicators on this particular tornado, but you can see how it weakened and strengthened and weakened. It's also probably part of it wasn't that it was so weak necessarily as much as it wasn't there wasn't anything really in the path to, cause that much damage. It also could have been, man, none of these have photos with them. There we go. Let's see, what is this one? 1 or 2 family residence. You can see shingles moved. Part of the roof is gone. Looks like, oh no, that's probably a garage. Never mind, the garage door is open. I was going to say it looks like maybe part of the wall collapsed, but the garage door is open. Let's see what this one was. I didn't look at this one. Oh, you can see right here. Walls have collapsed and been moved, but you've still got interior walls, which is why this is an EF3. Looks like maybe this building was sideswiped by the tornado. Maybe hit like the edge of it. Just based on the way the damage looks. Oh, that truck's been picked up and rolled several times. Several times, probably. There's a lot of damage in these trees, too. Let me scroll on. Sometimes you can see some interesting things in this damage. Broken wood poles. Occasionally when you get like the broken electrical lines, the electrical transmission lines, you can see them twisted in a circle as the tornado went by. But apparently not on this one. So, one of the fatalities for this particular tornado was in one of these homes right here that was swept away. And it went south of Braggadasio, Arkansas. Not sure which home it was, but it was one of these. There was a little girl that was killed, and then her parents and siblings were swept off and injured during the tornado. So that was one of the 6 fatalities, was somewhere in this area. In this general vicinity. And then there was another fatality in this area somewhere. A car was picked up and tossed with a driver that died. And then someone hit a power pole that was down and died as well in their car. Somewhere in this general vicinity, probably somewhere here on 155. Don't know exactly where, but somewhere along here it was likely. Metal building system, College Anchorage. No, there's no pictures. That's some good EF2 damage. Can kind of see. Well, you can see where the building has been peppered by debris. You can see the impaling on the actual roof covering here as it went past. This particular tornado caused 8 fatalities, 16 injuries. The one indirect fatality when the car drove into the power pole that was down and the driver died um, was on the ground for a long time and caused a lot of damage. So that was this one's not really been argued about. Is kind of gets overshadowed by this tornado up in here. This one is the big one from that day. But figured we'd start with this one, and we'll talk about the other one in the next episode. Talk to you guys later.